Hoy nos encontramos con Klavdij Sluban, fotógrafo y artista francés de origen esloveno, nacido en 1963, formado bajo la tutela de Robert Frank y Henri Cartier-Bresson, dos de los fotógrafos más importantes del siglo XX. Ha sido traído por Alianza Francesa y presentó su serie fotográfica Paraíso Perdido, dio un conversatorio en Arequipa donde expuso varias de sus series fotográficas. Él actualmente se encuentra trabajando en una de sus series más importantes llamada Adolescentes en Prisión. Esta serie lo ha llevado a visitar diferentes centros penitenciarios del este de Europa. Este proyecto fotográfico tiene como objetivo fomentar la curiosidad artística de los jóvenes y darles la oportunidad de expresarse a pesar del encierro. Así también Klavdij pretende retratar la realidad cotidiana de las prisiones latinoamericanas y europeas. Hello Klavdij, it's a pleasure to have you here. How do you pronounce
Klavdij.
Klavdij, all right. So, first of all, tell us about your exposition in Cusco. I mean, I understand it's in Concha, right? Called Paradise Lost.
Yes. So it's a series I made in the years 999 to 2003.
Yeah.
And I went to Cuba, Santo Domingo, Puerto Rico, and Haiti. Mm-hmm. And I went there several times because it's a very strong place, and I really didn't want to do a touristic tour. Yeah. So by returning, I got deeper and deeper every time.
You have said you don't do tourist photography, yeah, right? You're very critical, for example, to National Geographic. You escape all the time from cliches. You try to capture the spirit of the culture that you visit. How do you achieve that?
First of all, about National Geographic, it's not a question if I like it or not. But the thing is, they have the same, let's say, set of pictures all the time repeated. And even when a good photographer works for National Geographic, it becomes National Geographic photos because of the editing. So there is no personal expression, personal writing. That's why I'm not interested. I don't hate it. They can leave, but I'm not interested in these kind of photos.
So you are against the exotic view of the cultures. I mean, maybe you want to go to Peru. You photograph the Machu Picchu or something like the icon of the city, but you have said it's not the thing you're interested.
Well, exoticism, what does it mean? For Peruvian, what tourists find exotic is not exotic. So I try to get so far as not being attracted by things that are not, for example, in my country. Which means I'm more interested in everyday life, in the way people live, in the way people also live in the suburbs of the cities I visit, the way they take the local bus. And this is something, well, probably tourists don't do. So exotic for me means I want, yes, to escape the cliché.
Yeah. I mean, in your work, I watch you have a confrontation with the other. I mean, you look at the other face to face in this radical otherness. How is that? I mean, how do you escape the view from, I don't know, maybe Occidental men who want to photograph something different?
Yeah, that's the thing. You see here with Chambi as a reference, it's photos you've got in mind all the time. You see.
Yeah.
Now they are very they are like symbols. These photos of Peru. So the thing is not to do what Chambi did 1 century ago. So I'm not really interested in the people dressed in national folklore dresses, because most of the time it's fake.
Yes.
And I'm more interested in people just in the street, the way they are dressed nowadays, the way they behave, you see. So it's only by walking a lot and by being close to people. I use a wide angle. Of course, I have no zoom, so I must be close to people in order to touch them with my camera.
Right. Your work is based in reading images. Not every picture can do that. Nowadays, there is a lot of pictures. Everybody will take selfies or something. And this proliferation of pictures is not really pictures that can be read. How do you read photography?
Well, once again, it's maybe easy to talk against tourists, but it's true that most of the time, if the main thing to be photographed is here, they will be back to the main thing because of the selfie. So it's interesting. What is to be looked at, they turn their back to it. So my way of proceeding is with an analog camera. I don't see what I do immediately. So the very important part of my photographic work is the editing, the selection. After I come home, I look at all the photos and I try to understand what I did. I have no subject from the beginning, you see. I don't come with the subject in mind. So I come with just an open idea of what the country could be, and I really work on the spot at the moment when I am present at the spot.
So you born in France, and I understand you grow in Slovenia.
Yes.
Right. Also your work is based in these countries of the Eastern Europe that were part of the Soviet Union. You explore that topic about the post Soviet Union. How did that influence you?
Well, yes, I was brought in former Yugoslavia, and before returning back to my parents in Paris at 7.5, and I must say I carry within me all this Eastern culture, atmosphere. So I am very attracted to these Eastern zones which have suffered of communism, which have suffered of so many wars. So I can say it is part of my identity, and that's why I find it also interesting as well to extract myself out of it from time to time, and to come to countries such as Peru, where I have no personal link. I find it very exciting.
Yeah. So you study literature, right? I understand your thesis were about adolescence and literature. Right?
Yes, yes.
And later that in your work was project by the work of the prison, the teenager prison. Right? So why did you choose that?
I was always interested in adolescence. I find it's a crucial period in life. It's a period when not only the mind but the body changes. It's a transition period, and what I like with adolescents is that they are very fast. They're fast and furious, and they are not scared. They do things without thinking ahead. And the reason why I started the work in jail was because exactly for this they have this huge amount of, I don't like the word energy, but energy. And I come with my camera, I take photos with my camera, but I also organize workshops with them. I give them cameras and we photograph together. And it's incredible how creative they are, how it's very simply said, how good their photos are.
I mean, the freedom of the adolescent, of a teenager, is really overwhelming, right? I mean, you're just growing up, and you discover a lot of things, and you want to leave, and the prison don't let you do that.
That's exactly why it's so interesting to do it, to do an artistic project in jail. It's because they are totally, tightened up. They have no possibility to express themselves. So giving them this opportunity, they just burst out. They are like a volcano, like a firework, you see. So that's why it's so interesting to do it with them, because suddenly they have the opportunity to do something new, something else.
Exactly. When I watched your work, I thought about Michel Foucault's work. Vigilar y castigar in English is punish,
And survey.
survey.
Surveiller et punir in French.
Foucault explains that there is a mechanism of power to control the individuals, and the prisons are like institutions of isolation. That there are a lot of lack of freedom, right? I mean, do you read your work in that kind of terms?
Of course. I read first Foucault even before thinking of jails.
I thought so.
It's a real reference. And yes, there was these kind of jails, the panoptique, where you could see the prisoner from every angle. And it was horrible. The prisoner really had no privacy. But what I find most interesting is he said that jails have been existing for 2 centuries, and we know it's a bad system, but we still keep on keeping it and building new jails. So there's a real contradiction.
Yeah.
It's a total failure, a jail, but we still build even more. Yeah. And in France now they build even private jails.
Yeah. Well, tell us about your master. I mean, one of your masters, I understand, Henri Cartier-Bresson, right? How did he influence your work?
To tell you the truth, Cartier-Bresson, well, he set the grammar of photography with the decisive moment, with this very structured kind of photography. But it's not exactly him I am influenced by. I am more influenced, for example, by Robert Frank, whom I met as well, who is really an incredible man. And he said, I take the picture right after the decisive moment. It means when everything collapses. And it's a much more felt, it's more sensitive. While Cartier-Bresson is pure geometry. And I'm not saying that I don't like Cartier-Bresson's photos, but sentimentally, I am much more interested in somebody like Robert Frank.
Okay, so in your work is also, when you present your work here in Arequipa, it was music in all the series, right? And the music and sometimes were even disturbing, annoying in the prison series. That is an element, a fundamental element for you, the music.
Yeah, when you say I presented my photos in Arequipa, it was during this talk as a slideshow. Yeah. And yes, I think there must be a music for the slideshow, and it's very dangerous which kind of music you choose. because if the music is too strong, it destroys the photo, and if the photo is if the music is too bad, it destroys the photos. So you must really find a balance, you see. And now I work with musicians, so they compose on my photos, which means I explain them the way I made the photos, and they compose according to their own sensitivity.
I think they capture the war, the existential pain, all of these things are very, very into your photography. The music is also a thing that connects a leading.
Yes, in this case about the jails in France, in former Soviet Union, in Moldova, Latvia, and so on. I really chose a group of two guys, a band, who understood that the music is very abstract, very contemporary, and it goes with the photos. It's the same level, I find, even though it's very scratchy, very disturbing, as you said, and I can totally understand that some people don't like it. But I'm not here to please people.
Exactly. So you have a great trajectory all these years, but there is a lot of young photographers who want to become like you, or like great photographers. What would you recommend for them?
I started too as a young photographer. And I didn't know how to do it, but what I knew is to make photos all the time. I have never stopped making photos. So you make photos, you make series. It's very important to make coherent series, you see, to have a series of photos that represent you, and to show it to people. And then people who like it will connect you to other people who like it, and thus you have a network. But it's not a mafia network. It's a network of people who appreciate your work. You see, so I really went gradually, step by step.
You think it's important to read, to learn, to read poetry, to read literature?
I think what is important is what inspires you. You see. For me, it is inspiring. It is essential, but maybe for somebody else, it's not. It's something else. You see, and I think you must know your medium. That is to say, you must know by heart photography, but also what you must is that you have this connection with photography that makes you different from the others, which means you know enough the medium so that you can go within yourself. And once you go within yourself and that you start expressing yourself, you cannot be like somebody else. You will be genuine. You will be yourself. But for this, you have to work a lot.
Well, thank you very much, Klavdij.
My pleasure.